I'm going to do a short video on pouring sinker molds, and this is how you start. I got a little hot pot here, and I have some lead ingots I made in another video a while back. I just pour dirty lead into the pot, skim off the slag, and then pour it into the bottom of a pop can. So they're clean, they're small, they fit, they're easy to handle, they're not heavy. You can see the pot starting to warm up. It's going to take a few minutes, so I'll get back to you. So before we get too much further into this, this is a mold, it's a Do-It mold. I got it upside down. And it's for making egg sinkers. This is where you pour the lead. This is what the cavity looks like on the inside. And this pin right here lays in between all the molds, and after the lead sets up, you pull the pin out and it leaves a hole in the lead, and that's for your fishing line. So okay, we're going to back off for a little bit and let this melt again. Okay, what do we have here? We've got our lead. We've got our lead pot. I'm just using this old coffee can to get the slag off. This is my slag spoon, and this will be my ladle right here. So I got some slag on here, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slag off the top. And that's what it looks like. Just toss it in there, get the top clean. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the slag pot. It's cold, and if I put it in there and try to pour, it'll set up in here. So I'm going to put this in here and let it heat sink for a while. Like that. A couple of minutes of that. When I get to ready for my first pour in my mold, the first pour of the mold is cold. The first pour is usually unsuccessful. So the first pour just preheats the mold. And then we'll pull the lead out and put it back in the pot and remelt it. And then the mold will be warm enough to allow the lead to pour all the way in and fill the mold up without setting up. Very rarely can I make the first pour on a cold mold and be successful. So sometimes if you have you shouldn't preheat this because these handles are wood, this is wood, and if you preheat it you could scorch it or catch it on fire. Lead melts about 730 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's a little bit too hot to be introducing that kind of heat to these wooden surfaces. And it's okay in the small amounts that go in here, but not to preheat this whole thing. So we're going to wait a little bit longer for this to preheat, and then we'll make a pour. Okay, let's do a little preheat pour and see how it turns out. I'm going to hold the handles tight here so that we don't get a lot of flash. Pour right in the hole until it's full. It doesn't take long for it to set up. And we pull the pin. We can pull the pin. It's the first time I've ever done it with this mold. first. Yep, you gotta pull the pin first. Open the mold. These are still pretty hot. And that's what it looks like. I don't know if you can see the hole. So these are not poured very well because the mold itself wasn't hot enough. This one actually looks like it came out. That one did. That's a successful pour. That was a successful pour. That was a successful pour. So we only had 1 out of 4. The weights, the weights here are 1, 1.5, 1 1/4, 2, and 3. So I'm pouring 1, 2, 7.5 ounces of lead with each pour, and the bottom ones are, I think, 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, ½ ounce, and 3/4. So I'm not pouring the smaller ones right now. So you close the mold back up, put the pin back in, and I'm ready for another pour. When these cool down a little bit, I'll put this whole one back in there because it didn't work out. But when these cool down a little bit, I'll break these tops off right here and put them in and remelt them. They were already pretty hot, so it won't take that long. These are handleable already. It doesn't take long. So then I just take the pliers here like this and bend it back and forth and then reload that. So that's the finished product, what it looks like. It has the weight is molded in. It's 1 ounce right there. I know you can't see that. And the hole is clear, so I can thread my line through that. And these will make pretty good slingshot ammo too. So let's make another pour. Grip the handle. Right in the hole. A little bit more. The 3-ounce one takes more lead than what I have in my little ladle here, and that's probably going to be a problem going forward, trying to get that all the way poured. We'll see. Take the pin out. You're supposed to oil these pins, which I did, and you're supposed to oil the hinges, which I did. Move this out of the way. I like to use the bricks so that I don't damage this or catch it on fire. This mold is already very hot. Get back up there. That's the 3-ounce. It came out pretty good. These all came out pretty good. Okay. So that's it. That's how you pour sinkers. Thank you for watching.